Hey everybody, cheers, happy Mimosa Monday. So today, first of all, before we get into today's Mimosa Monday, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that came out to the Rochester Museum Science Center show. My mom had a great show. It was her first year doing this one, and it was really successful. And it was due to you guys. So thank you for everybody that came out. We saw so many familiar and lovely faces and kids and everything. So thank you guys for everybody that came and supported us. And second of all, this is a blanket, not a sweater. I'm cold. Okay, so those two things are out of the way. So today we're talking about buying a digital SLR camera. I have 5 separate people that have asked me how to do this in the last week, so I figured this is on people's minds. A lot of people want to buy camera for the holidays, either as a gift or to capture the holidays, so I thought I would address some of the things that you guys are going to have questions about as you're doing that, especially if you've never bought a digital camera before. So a few definitions, because there's a lot of lingo, there's a lot of terms that you're probably not familiar with, and you don't know what to do with these words. And if you go to the store and you try to, somebody tries to help you with it, they're going to be using words that you might not understand. And if you don't want to ask, you can just learn it from me now. So the first one is DSLR. So that stands for digital SLR. So SLR is a term referring to a single lens reflex, which basically means that what it refers to is a type of camera in which the lens is removable. So just to grab the lens I have here, the camera I have here, you can take the lenses off of the DSLR camera and interchange them. So I could take this lens off and that was a bad lens change for any of the professionals out there. That was a slow one. And then put a different lens on it, depending on how I want to use it. So that is DSLR. That's what that means. It's basically the type of camera that you're probably trying to buy. A digital camera that has interchangeable lenses. So some of the pros of buying a DSLR versus a point and shoot. So point and shoot is just going to be like one of those little pocket cameras. They were really popular before iPhones. So before we all had cameras attached to our phones, people would buy a little digital point and shoot, and it's called a point and shoot because you literally point it and you take a picture and you shoot, and there's not a lot of thought that goes into it, and that's very convenient in a lot of situations. It's very fast to, or rather it's not fast to take the actual photograph, but it's fast in that you have no decisions to make. So you're literally just pointing, clicking. It's light. You're not, straining your back if you carry this kind of thing around. It's very heavy, and so that's annoying, especially take on vacation. And it's also very inexpensive. Point and shoot cameras are like maybe $100, maybe $200. So those are some of the, the differences, or rather, those are some of the reasons that you would have a point and shoot. Some of the pros of having a DSLR. Number one is going to be that you can change those lenses out. So if you have some creative ideas that you want to achieve, one lens might be better than another. Or if you have some particular technical challenges associated with what you're trying to photograph. So let's say that you want to take photographs of your kids playing sports. Certain lenses might be better for that, depending on how close or far from the field you are, or, if you're shooting in an indoor pool or something like that. You're going to have certain technical challenges that will be better met with a certain lens. That's one. Another one is going to be manual controls. So if you are so inclined to take better photographs and you want to learn how to do that, you'll need to be able to use some manual features on your camera. And that means basically instead of having it set to auto, where your camera makes all the decisions, you would actually be deciding some of the features. So some of the things like aperture or shutter speed or ISO, these might be terms that you've heard of, maybe they're not, but they're settings that you'll want to control if you want to be able to take better pictures. And there's nothing wrong with letting your camera use auto in certain situations, but a lot of times you're going to find that your camera is not doing a good job. The photo doesn't look how you want it to look, and that's because cameras are dumb. They are digital, they're non-thinking. They're just little robots. They've been programmed in a certain way, and if you're not getting the kind of photos that you want, it's because you have a different idea than the camera thinks that you do. So, so manual controls is an important pro of having a DSLR. Also, just the speed of it. I know if you are, so a lot of people are frustrated when they have their point and shoot camera, they go to take a picture and it doesn't take the picture for like a second, which doesn't sound like a long time, but it actually is. And so DSLRs are much faster at focusing. You can, you know, focus. Let's just try to take a picture now. So I can focus in on here. I press the halfway down button, and then I take a picture. So if I just grabbed it quickly, I take it immediately. If I was trying to take that photo with a camera phone and it was dark in here, you guys know how long it takes for the flash to go off, and you know, if you're trying to photograph kids or dogs or something, you've already missed the photo. So so that's a really important one. And then the third one that I hear frequently is depth of field. And even though a lot of people don't necessarily know the technical definition of that, they know that they want the background to be blurry and their subject to be sharp. So that's one of the obvious marks of a professional photographer. When you see that, you know that that was taken with a professional camera and by someone that probably knows how to use it. So, so those are some of the three. Those are the three biggest pros of going with a DSLR. It is more expensive, so there are, you know, there's a lot of different models, and I'm not gonna, I mean, I probably will make a recommendation actually as to a good one, because that happens to be the question on everyone's mind right now. The $1 million question everyone wants to know is, Natalie, what camera should I buy? And if someone asks me, you know, on the street, what camera should I buy? I'm going to ask you some questions before I respond. It's not like there's a one size fits all. The fact that there are 100 different options is evidence to the fact that there are different solutions for different problems. So if you're a professional photographer and you say, Natalie, I want to shoot boudoir in low light situations, I'm going to recommend this camera to you. It's an $8,000 camera. If you want to take pictures of your baby and you have no interest in doing any post-production, you don't want to use Photoshop, you just want to take pictures to upload to Facebook, you should not spend $8,000 on a camera. So there are lots of different models, and one that I really like, so I'm a Canon girl. I don't want to start anything. I really don't want to talk about the differences between Canon and Nikon, because as far as I'm concerned, they're negligible, and it doesn't matter which one you go with. But if you pick one, you stick with it, because you are going to be investing in lenses, which I'm going to talk about in a second, and you do not want to be jumping around. You want to go with one and build that investment. Okay, so just pick one. If you have a preference, if like your family has always been Nikon and you just feel comfortable with it, stick with Nikon. If you you know, like Canon, go with Canon. Whatever. I'm a Canon girl. I always have been. My mother was Canon, and that's why I am a Canon. So, anyways, there's Canon has something called a Rebel series, which is basically just their intro level DSLRs, which is going to fit most of your needs. So if you are just an average person and you have you're not making a living on photography, you have no intentions of doing so, you just want to take better pictures of your kids or your family, you do not need a professional or what they would call prosumer. So something that's above consumer, they call it prosumer because it's kind of halfway between. You don't need that unless you're like really all in and you just love photography and you want to spend a lot of time editing your pictures, and maybe you want to make big prints or sell them or something like that. But for 9 out of 10 of you guys, you're probably just going to need an intro level. So the Canon has a series called the Rebel series. The one that I looked up today is the T5i, which seems like they're good intro level. I think it's about $600 for just the body, and it's going to have the manual features that you need. It's going to have you know, a decent sensor size, and it's going to allow you to use interchangeable lenses. The nice thing about the Canon Rebel series is if you do decide to at some point upgrade into a pro level body, the lenses are the same. So you can use the same lenses as you upgrade your body. This is an example of probably what that body looks like. This is a 60D. This is my backup camera. So if 2 cameras break on a wedding day, which has never happened, I'd be using this one, which is fine. It's a fine body. but it's, you know, it's small, it's lightweight. I believe this one is probably plastic, whereas my other ones are metal. Oh, that's great. All the professionals out there are losing their minds right now. You never want to have that exposed because in there is the sensor, and that's very sensitive, and it's also expensive to clean, so you want to keep dust out of there. That was great. So if there's any professionals out there, sorry I had to see that. So I frequently like to buy my DSLRs, which you would call body only. So this is just the body, and some of you are actually, probably very few of you are used to seeing a camera looking like this without a lens on it. You can't take a picture like this. This is just the body, and if you wanted to take a photograph, you would quickly put a lens on it. Okay, so now you can take a photograph, but the lenses that come with the bodies at this price point are very cheap lenses. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. So it's called a kit lens. So if you buy a camera kit, it means that you're getting the body plus the lens. That lens is going to be of low quality, and for 9 out of 10 of you, that's just fine. Again, if you just want to take some nice pictures and you want to get the kids together in a group and take the picture, that's probably going to be just fine. If you want to do sports photography, if you want to, you know, do some kind of amateur portraits, you might choose to invest in a better lens, and you will not want to purchase the kit, because ultimately that lens that comes with that is not going to be a high quality lens that you want to hang on to. It's not a lens that's going to grow with you. So the last thing I'm going to mention is megapixels. This is a term that I think is overrated, or rather the importance of having a high megapixel camera is inflated. So megapixels are the unit of measure for the resolution of your camera's sensor. So what that basically means is that your camera has a certain has a sensor that collects the light that you let in when you press that button down. So when you press that button, the shutter opens, light comes in your camera, and then it closes. And the receptor of that, the light that you just let into your camera, is the sensor. And that's what's going to record that incoming light into a photograph. So the quality of that, or rather the number of pixels in that sensor, is what megapixels is. So mega, referring to the fact that you're measuring, you know, instead of saying 8 million pixels, you're saying it's 8 megapixels. Again, for 9 out of 10 of you, you do not need a super high megapixel camera unless you are blowing your images up to billboard size, or, you know, let's say like 30 by 40 or 20 by 30, like something really big. You probably just aren't going to need a huge one, a huge megapixel sensor. And I think that that's usually like a marketing tactic. Like cameras are saying, you know, oh, we have like 10 megapixels, and people go, oh, well, 10 is better than 8, right? Not necessarily. So anyways, I hope that was helpful for a lot of you. I am going to post a link to that camera that I recommended. Again, it's not a one-size-fits-all, but if you just want to take some nice pictures of your kids and you might want to, you know, invest in some additional lenses, you can. Otherwise, you can just get the kit. But I like that Canon T5i. So, whew, that was 13-minute long, Mimosa Monday. I hope you guys stuck with me. And if you did, so I'll probably announce this again, considering that, you know, not everyone's going to stick around to the end of this. But I'm thinking about offering some classes here at my studio. So either one-on-one coaching, or like quite more likely some type of a photo class, which would be something that you sign up for. It might be a several-week series, and it would be hands-on. You would learn how to, you know, use your digital camera and to take better pictures. So if you're interested in that, please comment, and even better than that, tell me exactly what you'd be looking to learn, because again, I don't know, if I've never done this before, and I'm thinking about it only because so many of my clients are asking for it, and it would be nice to offer that as a service to you guys. So let me know if you're interested in that, and if so, what kinds of things you would be looking to achieve, and hopefully I can put something together for you guys. Well, that's it, everybody. Cheers. Hope that you guys have a great week. And I hope that you have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy the holiday with your families, and I'll see you guys next week.